Hey, what's going on, people? Before I get into this, I guess you all, people you already know, I always give a shout out to, pay not pay respect, but to give respect to Nikki. She's a wonderful girl. She's a great girl. From uptown, I always have to give my respect to her before I start the video. So, if you don't know that I do it, that's what I always do before I start the videos. Gotta give a shout out to Nikki. All right, now let me get to the topic. Obama, the Republicans' best friend. Now I know there are a lot of you who probably think like, hey, well, why is this guy saying something like that about Obama? I thought he had Obama's back 1,000%. Actually, I do have his back 1,000%, but it actually works both ways. And the way things started off with this debt ceiling showdown crisis, it just started off all wrong. Because first of all, Obama walked in there and he's ready to throw, his people under the bus. I mean, we're talking about the elderly, the poor, even the middle class. He walked into the door with the deal where for every $1 the Republicans give up, he was going to give up $3. Now, Obama's supposed to be a Columbia graduate or went to Harvard Law School. He's supposed to be like a Harvard man. How do you walk in there with a deal like that? That is like giving them. I mean, if they were sitting there listening, they probably thought, is he messing with me? He can't really mean that. And he actually did. And he's ready to throw his base like under the bus, and or as far as Republicans probably concerned, they were like, hey, if you take out the tax increases, we'll go with that. He's talking about cutting $3 trillion. That's 12 zeros, 3 trillion. Now you think about it, one that's if you could give it 1 trillion for Social Security, 1 trillion for Medicare, 1 trillion for Medicaid, and he was talking about doing that over the course of 10 years. You break 1 trillion down by 10, and that makes up to what 100 billion. Now there's not enough. I mean, I don't think there's enough fraud, fat, or whatever in those programs where you could just cut 100 billion and no one would miss it. That's like what you call a draconian cut. If you cut 100 billion from any of those programs in 1 year, it's going to be missed. And especially after 1 year, the second year, if you cut another 100 billion, that's really going to be missed. So to me, it made no sense, and it especially made no sense because Obama, he actually had the wind on his back. He just probably just didn't know it, but right in street terms, his swag was on 100,000. He had Bin Laden taken out. So he could have walked in there and reversed it. He could have said, look, for every $1 I give up, you guys got to give up three. And of course, they would have been outraged. They would have flipped their wigs like, what are you, crazy? We're going to walk out of here. And, he could have said, like, hey, well, all right, you walk out that door, because eventually you're going to have to walk back in. When you walk back in that door, the deal is going to be the exact same way it was when you walked out. And he could have actually gotten away with that because after he took out Bin Laden, I'm pretty sure all the Democrats would say, yeah, Obama, get him, man. Tell him this is how it's going to be. Now, eventually, once all was said and done, they're probably going to have to negotiate it down for like every $1 he gives up, they give two, maybe even give up 1.5. But he had that kind of, he doesn't even realize, but he would have had that kind of backing. His people would have backed him like 1,000% behind that because like I said, he just had political clout, and he didn't even know it. I mean, he had the wind to his back, but he walked in negotiations pretty much with his tail right between his legs. I'm just looking at this like, is he joking? And now he just signed the final, he just signed the final bill, and it's basically a Republican bill. The Republicans got what they want. The only thing they really lost in that was cuts to defense. Um, I don't understand why he would do something like that. And on top of that, when you think about the medical issue, for those of you who don't know, the cost of providing medical care goes up every year. In fact, it even goes up faster than the rate of inflation. So if the pills are going, I mean, the pharmaceutical companies are charging more money for the pills, the medical procedures are going up, the costs keep going up year after year. So if you're cutting the services, but the costs keep going up, what's going to happen? People are going to start dying. I mean, they're already going to raise the limit, I think, for Medicare to 67. So maybe they just figure, and within those 2 years, people might just die off. And I don't know. It's a messed up situation. But I'm really disappointed in Obama because he didn't take advantage of he had political, he just had the wind to his back, and it doesn't seem like he realized it. And on top of that, he was just so willing to throw the elderly, the poor, even the middle class under the bus. Is kind of like, why would you do that? I mean, he didn't even come in there with defense cuts or with cuts to even to the war. I mean, he could say, look, we're going to save trees if we just cut, stop these wars. In fact, he could have just said, look, we're going to give Pakistan $0. I mean, they were hiding Bin Laden, and when we came and took Bin Laden, they arrested everyone who they thought had anything to do with Bin Laden being taken out. So they pretty much showed us what they think of us. Or we're giving all this money to all these countries who are like, they're taking our money with their right hands, but they're giving us the finger with their left hands. So, well, like I said, Obama, one thing he does know is that more than likely he's going to be a Democratic candidate, and people are going to vote for him just because uh, they know the Republican candidate would be worse. But the Republicans really don't have anything to worry about, because if Obama's going to give them everything they want, then it's almost like they really have Republican. They're going to have a Republican in office anyway. But we'll see how the elections go next year. But I was really disappointed in him, and that's why I titled my video, he's the best friend. He's the Republican's best friend. I was really disappointed in him, and he actually, as a black man, he represents the educated black man. A lot of people say the educated black man is soft, he has no backbone. And outside of the Bin Laden, what he gave him the order to get Bin Laden, he's pretty much come up pretty, he's like he's not willing to fight for anything. It seems like it every time, just about every time to the plate. So it's like, you can't battle for your people only 10% of the time, and then 90% of the time just like, hey, you're on your own. I don't understand that. But anyway, let me know what you think about it, and thanks for listening. Peace.